When I saw the overwhelming, raging need, I could have figuratively picked up a hose to fight the blazing inferno. Instead, I summoned a whole host of men and women to fight the blaze that one man could not have quelled. Royal Family Kids' mission is to create life-changing moments for children of abuse. Nobody was doing what we envisioned for abused children, giving them a week of life-changing, lasting positive memories, something few of them have. We had the skill set to make replication possible once the model was set, and we knew we had access to one of the biggest volunteer pools in the country, faith-based communities. We just needed to communicate to others about the issue, inspire volunteers, and train them how to be part of the solution. Our vision statement reads, every foster child aged 6 to 12 experiences a life-changing camp, club, and mentor, and it is a driving force for all the Royal Family Kids volunteers. Our ultimate goal is to have 2,000 camps and 500 clubs in operation, with 128,000 kids in the 6 to 12 age group of foster care. We are already giving 5% of them camp, club, and mentor experiences. In the next 10 years, we plan to grow to the point that we are operating 400 camps, serving 16,000 children, sponsoring 200 clubs, serving 5,000 children, and recruiting 30,000 volunteers. We seek to positively impact large numbers of children during their impressionable years who statistically have the highest failure rate in society. These are the foster children who have been victims of abuse. Without intervention, many will drop out of school, live on the streets following emancipation from foster care, or run into trouble with law enforcement. This is all due to the rage and anger they harbor, as well as feelings of low self-esteem and sexual bondage. Royal Family Kids is giving them the tools of hope by helping children increase self-confidence, teaching them character qualities to live by, and connecting them with a mentor for the future to reroute them from their destructive lifestyles. Our organization has been built and expanded through self-sustaining local efforts. We engaged the faith-based community by creating awareness of the need and by encouraging them to act in their local communities, raising funds and recruiting volunteers from their churches to participate in the cause. Our two strongest leverage points are volunteer-powered programs and cash multiplication. Our volunteers are well-trained, passionate, and dedicated volunteers. Directors give 400 to 600 hours a year in camp preparation or 150 to 200 hours to lead a club. Our volunteers give 120 hours at camp and 6 hours a month in club mentorship. Since 2000, that equated to 11 million volunteer hours of free man-woman power. If someone had to pay for this service, that would have equated to over 215 million in social capital. Our second strongest leverage point is cash multiplication. A typical nonprofit raises dollars and consumes them, dollar for dollar. Royal Family Kids is unique in this arena because for every dollar we raise at the corporate level, the camps collectively raise $4 locally. This is cash quadrupling from the donor's perspective. Since the beginning of Royal Family Kids, our camp and club directors have been trained to raise their own funds in their own communities. Since child abuse is a local, social issue, many people are willing to support efforts to help these kids by donating funds for their camp and club programs in their local area. The camps collectively, consistently outraise our national office budget. For example, in 2011, our Royal Family Kids budget was $1.5 million, while the camps raised $4.7 million to fund their local camps. Our training model is one of the finest in the country for our purpose. Every director is background screened and required to attend 6 days of training. He or she spends 40-plus hours in the classroom intermingled with immediate observation or hands-on experience within a working model camp where the classroom instruction is immediately reinforced and followed by a review and assessment. We are told this is one of the strongest methods of training. Next, they put in 400 to 600 hours personally, coupled with a leadership team of 3 to 4 other trained people over the next 9 months to implement the camp. The Club Mentor program is developed as an outgrowth of the camps after the kids attend their first year of camp. 1 out of 4 women and 1 out of 6 to 7 men have experienced some form of abuse. That means that approximately a third of our volunteers may have come from this background. Many find that giving back to abused children helps them heal from their own hurt and pain. They are driven by compassion to reach out to these children. Camp volunteers go through a stringent application process before Royal Family Kids accepts them into the program. First, they complete an application and are interviewed. Next, we run background checks and fingerprinting as required. Then, finally, they complete 12 hours of training. Plus, mentors must undergo an additional level of security clearance. We developed an annual self-evaluation tool resulting in a certification clearance. If a camp does not pass the certification clearance process, those deficiencies are evaluated on an individual basis and improvements made. In addition, we offer a year-round corporate staff support that camps and clubs can consult at any moment. Issues that could arise are child behavior management, conflict management, guidance on fundraising, succession planning for leadership and ordering products. Camp directors point to our annual National Leadership Training Summit as a must for ongoing enrichment, education, training, and motivation of the larger whole. This annual event provides additional training, enriching speakers, new product identification, and motivational group experiences. Success for Royal Family Kids means more camps, clubs, mentors equals more foster kids impacted, and the greater the impact we can make in lowering child abuse statistics. We are currently taking 5% of the abused kids aged 6 to 12 in foster care. In the mentoring program, our match time between camper and mentor is 6 to 8 weeks following camp, due to the already existing relationship of the child and adult who attended camp together. The national average for retaining a mentor-mentee relationship is 6 to 8 months. In our 3-year pilot study, we had 90% retention rate of the mentor-mentee matches at the end of 1 year. Another measurable success is the number of campers returning as wholesome, contributing adult volunteers. It is affirming to the other camp volunteers to see a camper succeed through the program and then return to help younger campers. As part of their volunteer training, this former abuse victim is now attending 12 hours of training that helps him or her learn about themselves and understand how or why they may have behaved the way they did. The training includes information designed to help them overcome personal issues that often persist in abuse survivors. Many people are surprised to learn that we don't own a camp facility. We do not use donor dollars to maintain a camp facility and make capital improvements. Plus, it would be cost prohibitive to transport the large number of children we serve to one central facility to offer this kind of program. Instead, we chose the duplication franchise model to expand nationally. Every camp locates a suitable camp facility or a college campus, ideally within an hour's drive of the church that sponsors the camp. Another little-known fact is that Royal Family Kids provides respite care for foster parents. For every foster child we put in a camp for a week, a foster parent is given a week of respite care, with foster parent dropout rates at 30 to 50% annually. We are giving the foster parents a chance to catch their breath. According to feedback from foster parents, they often notice a positive difference in the child after he or she returns from camp and club. Many people don't understand that volunteering at our camps often leads to a life change for adults who participate. We learned this from the adult volunteers who reported back to us. Many comment that they see their own children differently, which we call backdoor parenting skill development. Our volunteers become greater contributors to society by increasing their awareness of a mounting social need and doing something about it. They are given a bite-sized way of addressing the social need. Our program has also generated more interest among adults in becoming foster parents. Many adults participants are becoming foster parents after having spent a week with the children. At camp, they are responsible for their campers 24/7 and are surprised to find that it is both gratifying and doable. We have been able to offer people a way to impact a society issue without having to have professional or educational credentials to do so. While we do enlist one professionally licensed social worker, psychologist, or family counselor in every camp, people are also experiencing success with this population. Another benefit of Royal Family Kids that many people don't know about is the number of adults who consider adoption after their volunteer service. Several of our adult volunteers are adopting not only the campers they have met, but opening their eyes to the possibility of adopting other foster kids. The wounds of abuse are personal. Healing comes through trustworthy personal relationships. Royal Family Kids provides the resources so that healing from abuse can take place. Royal Family Kids is proud of its many accomplishments. 70,000 abused kids have been given a week of summer camp experiences through our residential camps and have succeeded in that environment. We are taking foster children with the most challenging behaviors in the system. Because of the 1 to 2 adult to child ratios, they have the supervision they need to bring out their best behavior and build on it. Our program is designed to make them succeed, and they do so willingly and longingly, begging their foster parents to call and make sure they can return to camp or club the following year. Our program has expanded into 37 states, and we have penetrated 11 international countries. Our international expansion happened by accident. Word slipped out, and individuals sought us out, even being willing to translate our curriculum into their own languages when we didn't have the resources to do so. We also successfully expanded the week-long camp model to the school year-long mentoring and club program. Many times it's just easier to keep on doing what you're comfortable doing. Instead, we were willing to add the personnel to expand the clubs and mentors, and that too has been successful in a few short years. What is the best judge of our success? When one of our campers says many years later in adulthood, "That was the safest week of my childhood." We know we've done something right many thousand times over. Royal Family Kids has faced several challenges over the years. First of all, we are working with the highest at-risk children in our society. Once a person becomes a victim, it is easy to become a victim again. We have overcome safety and security issues of the highest sort with these children. How do we do that? Our camp and club directors are trained in handling serious child abuse issues. In turn, they are taught strict behavior policies to protect themselves against accusations of malintent. These policies are communicated to the volunteers. They are also equipped and are given backup support to handle troublesome behavioral situations. This breeds an attitude of success for the volunteers. Second, being a multiple outlet organization with high performance standards and an inability to personally follow up during operations, we could easily have poor performers that could potentially damage the organization as a whole. To combat this, we put the camp certification process into place. While we have 180 U.S. and international camps operating successfully according to our high standards, we have unfortunately been forced to remove our name from 4 camps to date. Third, we are addressing a taboo topic in society. People don't want to hear about or acknowledge the horrors that abused children face. It is gut-wrenching, but someone has to respond to their needs, and we have done that to the extent we have been able. There are a number of areas we would address with additional funds. We would recruit new churches to launch more camps. That is the bedrock to our growth and the way child abuse victims are positively impacted. We would conduct research. Research costs money. If funds were provided, we could conduct a longitudinal study among former campers to determine the success of their camp experiences. We have anecdotal knowledge of it, but solid research would bear weight with funding institutions and grants. We need to seek more office space. If a building were donated to house the national office with space to lease out to other tenants, the tenant income would be self-sustaining for the corporate office rent. We hope to develop our online presence. We need to develop online learning for the ongoing education of our volunteers. Funds would be utilized to create these materials and implement them online through our website. And finally, we would develop curriculum to teach our older mentees how to avoid the ploys and woos of sex traffickers. We need resources to complete this project. Our plan is to publish teaching materials, children's handbooks, and other materials along with training guides for the camp personnel. That way, anyone educated in the program is able to implement it locally, not only at camps, but also in the year-round mentoring programs. The main gap facing Royal Family Kids is more growth. Our goal is to have a presence in every state. We're in 37 currently. In Somebody's Daughter, written by Julian Scherer, we learned recently that 75 to 80% of children being sex trafficked come from foster care. We are poised to write curriculum to educate the campers and mentees about this horrible plight. We must teach them before the pimps recruit them. Funds are needed to assemble a curriculum writing group among educators already involved in the camps and clubs to produce and distribute this curriculum to the camp personnel. The rates of failure among foster youth upon emancipation from foster care are huge. Within 6 months of emancipation, over 50% of them are homeless, in prison, or prostituting their bodies. So we envision apartment complexes near seminaries where graduate students could become parental role models and influence this population hands-on while they are in grad school. We would need the apartment complexes and resources to maintain this ongoing program. We have utilized most of the camp facilities that could accommodate our camp groups. Therefore, we recently contracted with 2 colleges that lease space to the camps. What we discovered is that this idea is a win-win-win for the campers, for us, and for them. It's a win for the campers because it plants an idea in their heads for their future. Because of the high failure rate of foster children educationally, placing a foster child on a college campus living in a dorm for a week impacts them visually and experientially. We hope it also fosters a desire in our campers to want to attend college someday in their future. It's a win for colleges because they often look for summer sources of income for their empty facilities. And it's a win for Royal Family Kids because we are looking for more facilities to rent as we multiply the number of camps we create. With more funds, we would market this concept to Division II colleges. We need your help to grow and expand Royal Family Kids and help change the lives of victims of abuse.